Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. The restaurant looked nice from the outside, but I wasn't there for the atmosphere. I picked it on purpose. Thought we needed a reset. Martha didn't look like she came for that. She was on her phone when I arrived, barely looked up. When the waiter came, she ordered the most expensive wine on the menu without asking. That told me enough. "You good?" I asked, leaning back in my chair. She finally looked at me, smiled. But it wasn't the smile I married. This one had edge. "I'm great," she said. Then she set her phone down and tapped her nails against the table like she was about to deliver news. "I'm going to Vegas." She said it loud enough that the couple at the next table paused mid-conversation. I didn't react right away. I just looked at her. "Say that again," I said. She leaned forward, slow, like she wanted to enjoy it. "I'm going to Vegas for my birthday, with Olivia and Rachel. Flights are booked. Hotel too. I'm not asking." I nodded once. "You already paid for it?" She shrugged. "Obviously." "With what money?" That made her laugh. Not nervous, not playful, just disrespectful. "Mine." I didn't smile. "We don't have mine. We have accounts. Shared ones." She rolled her eyes. "God, Alan, you always do this. You turn everything into a control thing." I leaned in a little closer. "No, I turn it into reality. How much did you spend?" "Why does it matter?" She shot back. "It's my birthday." "It matters because I'm the one making sure the mortgage gets paid," I said, calm but firm. "So, I'll ask again. How much?" She picked up her glass, took a slow sip, and looked right past me like I wasn't worth the effort. "You're exhausting," she said. "I'm going. Deal with it. You can either be happy for me or stay here and sulk. Your choice." The waiter came with the wine, hesitated for half a second, then poured. I watched her. Really watched her. This wasn't impulsive. This was planned. "Who else is going?" I asked. "Olivia? Rachel? Maybe Nicole. You wouldn't know them. They actually know how to live." I sat back. "Right," I said. She smirked. "Don't wait up when I'm gone." That was the moment. I reached for my wallet, placed cash on the table, enough to cover everything. "We're done here," I said. She blinked. "What?" "Dinner. It's over." I stood up, buttoned my jacket. "You don't get to talk to me like that and expect me to sit here smiling," I said, looking straight at her. Her smile faded just a little. "Oh, please, don't be dramatic." "I'm not," I cut in. "I'm paying attention." I turned and walked out. Didn't slam anything. Didn't raise my voice. But something locked into place on that walk to the car. She said, "Deal with it." I decided I would. Martha came home late that night. I was already in the kitchen, finishing a drink. She walked in like nothing happened, heels in hand, phone still glowing in her face. "You left," she said, dropping her purse on the counter. "You noticed," I replied. She smirked. "You always do that. Walk away like it proves something." "It does," I said. "It proves I don't tolerate nonsense." That got a reaction. Small, but it was there. She opened the fridge, looked inside, then shut it harder than necessary. "You're overreacting. It's a trip, Alan, not a crime. You don't announce things like that in public unless you're trying to send a message," I said. "So what's the message?" She turned to face me. "That I'm done asking permission." "You never needed permission," I said evenly. "You needed respect. There's a difference." She rolled her eyes again, grabbed a bottle of water, and walked past me. "You always twist things." "No," I said. "I just don't ignore them." She didn't respond, just disappeared down the hallway. Over the next few days, I watched. Not emotionally, not reacting, just paying attention. Packages started showing up. Shoes, dresses, designer bags I hadn't seen before. She didn't hide them. She displayed them. Left boxes open like trophies. One afternoon, I caught her in the living room trying on outfits in front of the mirror, phone propped up, recording. She noticed me in the reflection. "What?" she said. "Nothing," I replied. "Just didn't realize Vegas had a dress code that expensive." She laughed. "You wouldn't understand. This is what normal people do when they travel." "Normal people pay for it first," I said. She ignored that. The phone calls got louder too. She didn't even bother leaving the room anymore. "I swear, Olivia, I need this trip," she said one evening, pacing. "I've been stuck here forever." I was sitting at the table, working. I didn't look up. "Yeah," she continued, louder now. "He thinks everything needs a discussion, like I'm a child." I closed my laptop slowly. "Then act like an adult," I said. She stopped mid-step. Excuse me? Adults don't spend money they haven't accounted for, I said, and they don't blindside their partner in public. She shook her head, smiling like I was missing the point. God, you're so rigid. And you're reckless, I replied. Silence. Then she laughed it off again. That same dismissive laugh. The night before she left, the suitcase came out. Big one. She packed like she wasn't coming back in a hurry. Dresses, heels, jewelry I remembered buying, back when appreciation still existed. The next morning, she zipped it shut and dragged it to the door. She turned to me. I'll send pictures, she said. Try not to miss me too much. I looked at her for a second. Drive safe, I said. That was it. No argument, no speech, just calm. She stepped outside and pulled the door behind her. A minute later, her car pulled away. I stood there until it disappeared down the street. Then I went straight to my office. If she wanted independence, I was going to see exactly what that looked like. The house was quiet after she left. Too quiet. I sat at my desk, logged into our accounts, and started going through everything line by line. Not guessing, not assuming, just numbers. The first hour told me enough. In the last 3 months, Martha had spent over $9,000 outside our normal expenses. Not groceries, not bills, extras, high-end stores, spas, restaurants I'd never been to, online orders that showed up as lifestyle purchases. Small amounts at first, then bigger ones. A pattern. I kept going. Then I saw it. 2 credit cards I didn't recognize, both under her name, both linked to our shared credit profile, both maxed out. I leaned back in my chair, took a slow breath, and went through the statements. Cash advances, hotel deposits, flight upgrades. Vegas wasn't a last-minute idea. It was planned weeks ago. That evening, I was still going through the statements when my phone buzzed. I picked it up. Martha had already started posting. First photo, airport lounge, champagne glass in hand, caption talking about finally living. Next, first-class seat, legs crossed, smiling like she just won something. I scrolled. Suite at the hotel, floor-to-ceiling windows, bottles lined up on a table. Her friends, Olivia, Rachel, and another one I didn't recognize, posing like they owned the place. I kept watching. Dinner photos, designer stores, poolside shots. Then the video. She was on a rooftop bar, music loud, lights flashing. She was laughing, dancing, one arm around a guy I'd never seen before. Not subtle, not innocent. Her friends were filming, cheering her on. I didn't react. I just watched it again. Then I saved it. Every post, every video, every receipt I could match to a charge. Not for revenge, for clarity. About an hour later, my phone rang. It was Mike Reeves, a friend who worked at a local bank branch we used. You got a minute? He asked. I do. He lowered his voice. I probably shouldn't be calling, but I figured you'd want to know. Martha came in last week, asked questions about transferring money out of joint accounts, large amounts. How large? I asked. Enough that it would have triggered a review, he said. She was asking how to avoid delays. I nodded, even though he couldn't see it. Did she move anything? No, she didn't have full authorization without you. That stopped it. Good, I said. There was a pause. Everything all right? Not anymore, I replied. We hung up. I sat there for a minute, then picked up the phone again. Called the bank directly. Verified everything myself. Same answer. She tried. She just didn't succeed. That was the difference. This wasn't impulsive. This was strategy. I opened a new folder on my desktop, named it Documentation. Then I started building a record of everything she thought I wasn't paying attention to. By the next morning, I wasn't reacting anymore. I was moving. First call was to my accountant, Stephen Clark. I laid out the numbers, the extra spending, the unknown cards. He didn't hesitate. That's not casual spending, Alan. That's escalation. I figured, I said. What does it look like legally? It looks like someone positioning themselves, he replied. Either to leave or to take more than they should on the way out. That matched what I was seeing. Second call was to a lawyer, David Grant, straight to the point kind of man. I explained everything. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he said, You've got 2 problems, overspending and intent. Intent? She tried to move money without you, he said. That matters. It shows planning. If this goes to court, that works in your favor, but only if you document everything. I already started. Good. Then don't stop, he said. And protect yourself now, not later. That was all I needed. I spent the next few hours putting things in place. Alerts on every account, notifications for any transaction over a certain amount. I separated what I could legally separate without triggering issues. Then I called the credit companies. Reduce limits on all shared cards, I said. Effective immediately. They asked questions. I answered them. Calm, direct. By the time I was done, the system looked very different than it had the day before. That evening, Martha's posts kept coming. Champagne at lunch, designer bags stacked on a hotel bed, captions about no limits, and finally breathing. One stood out. A picture of her at dinner, glass raised with the caption, "Some people hold you back, some people let you fly." I looked at it for a few seconds. Then I closed the app. An hour later, I got another call. This time from Jason Miller, an old friend who worked in hospitality in Vegas. "Your wife's making noise out here," he said. "That suite she's in? Not cheap. And the places she's tagging? That's not casual money." "I know," I said. He paused. "You good?" "I'm handling it." "All right," he said. "Just thought you should know. It looks like she's trying to impress people, not enjoy herself." That lined up perfectly. After the call, I went back to my desk and reviewed everything again. Numbers, timestamps, posts. There were no gaps anymore, no confusion, just a clear pattern of decisions. That night, I made one more adjustment. Quiet one. I removed her authorization from the primary credit line. Didn't announce it, didn't warn her, just did it. Then I shut down the computer and went to bed. No anger, no second guessing. She said she wanted to live without limits. I was about to show her what limits actually looked like. On the third day, she finally called. Not to check in, not to talk, straight to the point. "My card just got declined," she said. Loud music in the background. "Fix it." I leaned back in my chair. "Which card?" "Don't play games, Alan, the main one. I'm at a store." "How much are you trying to spend?" "That's not the issue," she snapped. "Just call them and fix it." "It is the issue," I said. "How much?" She exhaled sharply. 3,000. It's nothing." "It's not nothing," I replied, "and I'm not fixing it." Silence. Then she laughed, but it wasn't confident anymore. "You're kidding, right?" "No." "You're really going to embarrass me over this?" she said. "I'm with people." "That sounds like your problem," I said calmly. Her tone changed instantly. "You don't get to control me like this." "I'm not controlling you," I said. "I'm stopping you." "You're unbelievable," she shot back. "I make my own money." "Then use it." She hung up. 20 minutes later, my phone lit up again. Messages, one after another. Angry at first. She called me petty, said I was insecure, said I was trying to ruin her trip. I didn't respond. Then the tone shifted. She called again that night. Quieter this time. "Alan," she said, softer. "Just fix the card. I'll keep it under control." "No." A pause. "Why are you doing this?" "Because you've already gone too far." "That's your opinion," she replied. "It's backed by numbers," I said. "And actions." She went silent. "You're overreacting," she added, but there was less confidence behind it now. "I don't think I am." Another pause. Then she tried something different. "We can talk when I get back." "We will," I said. "But this isn't changing." She hung up again. An hour later, Jason called me. "Heard someone got shut down at a store today," he said. I didn't respond. He chuckled. "Word travels fast here. Your wife didn't take it well." "I'm sure she didn't." "She tried another card at dinner too," he added. "Same result." "Good." After that, I made one more move. I reduced the limits further, not aggressively, just enough. Enough to make sure the message landed. The next morning, I woke up to a voicemail. Her voice was tight, controlled, but I could hear it underneath. "Call me, now." I didn't rush. I made coffee first, sat down, took my time. Then I called her back. "What did you do?" she asked immediately. "Exactly what I needed to do," I said. "You're sabotaging me," she snapped. "No," I replied. "I'm protecting myself." There was a long silence on the line. For the first time since this started, she didn't have a comeback ready. That's when I knew the balance had shifted. She went to Vegas thinking she was in control. Now she was starting to realize she wasn't. She texted me the day she landed. Short, cold. "Landed. On my way home." Like nothing happened. I didn't respond. About 20 minutes later, my phone rang. "Alan," she said, sharp, Controlled. None of my cards are working. Not even for the Uber. What did you do? They're working, I said. Just not for you. Silence. What does that mean? She asked. It means you were an authorized user, I said. You're not anymore. Her breathing changed. You removed me? Yes. You can't just do that, she snapped. Those are my cards too. No, I said. They're not. Another pause. Longer this time. I don't have enough cash on me, she said, voice tighter now. I need to get home. Then figure it out, I replied. You're serious? She asked. You're going to leave me stranded? You made independent choices, I said. Handle the result independently. She hung up. Then came the messages. Anger first, then blame, then accusations. I didn't answer any of them. 2 hours later, the front door opened. She walked in fast, dragging her suitcase behind her. She didn't look like the person from the videos. Hair flat, makeup worn, energy off. You humiliated me, she said immediately. I was sitting in the living room, calm. No, I said. You did that yourself. She dropped her bag. My cards declined in front of everyone. Do you have any idea what that looked like? I do, I said. That's why I stopped it. Her eyes narrowed. You're enjoying this. No, I replied. I'm correcting it. She started pacing. You had no right. I had every right, I cut in. You spent thousands without telling me. You opened credit lines behind my back. You tried to move money out of our account. She froze. Who told you that? She asked. I don't need someone to tell me, I said. I can read statements. Her confidence cracked for a second. Then she pushed back. You're blowing this out of proportion, she said. It was just a trip. No, I said. It was a pattern. She crossed her arms. So, what now? You punish me? I protect myself, I said. She stared at me. Maybe we need a break. I already spoke to a lawyer, I replied. That landed. Her expression changed immediately. You what? Days ago. She took a step back like the room shifted under her. You're serious? She asked. I've been serious, I said. You just didn't notice. She sat down slowly on the couch, like her legs gave out. This is insane, she said quietly. You're throwing everything away over a trip. I shook my head. No, I said. You did that before you even packed. She didn't answer. For the first time, she didn't argue. She just sat there, staring at the floor, realizing she wasn't in control anymore. The silence in the house after that conversation was different. Not peaceful, not calm. Final. Martha stayed on the couch for a long time that night. No more arguments, no more shouting, just the sound of her scrolling through her phone like she was looking for a version of reality that made more sense. I didn't interrupt her. I went to my office, printed everything I had collected, and organized it into one folder. Bank records, card statements, screenshots, transfer attempts. Every post she had made during the trip. Clean, chronological, undeniable. The next morning she tried again. This can't be how it ends, she said, standing in the doorway. I didn't look up. It's not how it ends. It's how it already ended. She stepped closer. I made mistakes, but you're acting like I committed a crime. I'm acting on facts, I said, not emotions. Her voice softened, shifting tactics. Alan, we can fix this. I finally looked at her. You tried to move money without telling me, I said. You opened credit lines I didn't know about. You spent like there were no consequences. And when I asked questions, you called it control. She didn't respond. That's not a mistake, I continued. That's a decision. Her eyes filled, but I didn't move toward her. I didn't mean for it to get this far, she said quietly. But it did, I replied. She looked down. For once, there was no attitude, no performance, just reality catching up. I don't know where I'm supposed to go, she said. You'll figure it out, I answered. That was the last real conversation we had. She left 2 days later. No scene this time, no dramatic exit, just a suitcase, a quiet door closing, and the sound of her car pulling away. Weeks passed. The divorce moved quickly. The lawyer handled the rest. It moved faster than she expected. Once the documents were reviewed, the spending pattern was clear. The hidden cards, the attempted transfers, the court didn't need emotion, just evidence. During the process, something else came up. One of the people connected to the case mentioned what had been circulating from Vegas, that she hadn't just been spending, she had crossed a line with someone there while she was on the trip. I didn't ask for details. I didn't need them. The debt stayed with her. No arguments changed that. One afternoon, I saw her again. Outside the house. Standing across the street. Not the version from Vegas. No designer clothes. No confidence. Just a woman who looked like she'd been pushed back into reality too hard, too fast. She didn't smile. She didn't argue. She just said, "I didn't think it would end like this." I kept my hands in my pockets. "It didn't end because of one trip," I said. "It ended because of everything you did before it." She nodded once, slowly, like she finally understood the timeline. Then she turned and walked away. No more calls after that. No more messages. Just distance. Sometimes people think freedom means doing whatever they want without consequences. But freedom without responsibility is just chaos waiting for a bill. And in the end, she got exactly what she asked for. She just didn't like the price. Thank you for watching.